Now I'd like to move to the gentlewoman, Ms. Tlaib, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Steffens, you know, so just bear with me here. So they say that, you know, the Department of Defense failed its 6th audit. How many audits have they had?
So ma'am, since 2018, fiscal year 2018, we've gone under full financial statement audit. So that has been 6 consecutive years. The first time we ever went under a full financial statement audit was 2018. So
Oh, we never did a full audit before that?
Before that, no ma'am.
Okay. And so what is the percentage, because I read that they could not account for half of its assets. You probably heard a lot of my colleagues talk about it. It's what, 3.1 trillion. How much of that is the entire federal budget, percentage-wise?
Both asset-wise, I don't have the exact percentages, but in terms of the budget, you know, we are roughly half of the discretionary spending for the United States.
So it's actually 78% of the entire federal budget. That's just the excess of $3.1 trillion.
In assets, yeah.
78% of the entire federal budget. You know, I know my colleagues talk to you all about this, but I start the Get the Lead Out caucus, and we've been trying to, and we got tremendous bipartisan support, of course. I think all of us agree no amount of lead in water is safe anymore, and it never really was. And we need about approximately just a minimum, I mean, 60 billion just to start putting a debt into removing lead pipes. And just thinking about the fact that I'm always being told, well, how are we going to pay for it? And you see this kind of waste, and I really commend my colleagues to bring this forward, because I kid you not, I could be in a room in a town hall, and one of parts, and I don't just represent the city of Detroit, I represent some of the suburban communities. This is one of the consistent things they'll agree with me on, even if politically we don't agree on a lot of other issues. So Mr. Khan, one of the things that I was reading on in regards to the clean audit specifically, I didn't understand what this meant. It said, since 1995, the GAO has designated DOD financially management as a high-risk area due to long-standing issues, including ineffective processes systems. What does that really mean? What does it mean to say that they are designated as a high-risk area?
So it would be similar to any federal programs. It needs to have systems and processes, especially when a large amount of assets and money is involved in there. DOD was set up to support the warfighting missions. They didn't have systems and control to do financial management. They were to process logistics. Because of that, they were not able to account for the money that was given to them in the annual appropriations. They were not properly.
So it's about waste. High risk is like, oh, are they wasting money? Right?
It leads to waste. It does, yes. It's about transparency and accountability. If you don't have that, then it can lead to waste, fraud, and abuse. Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Mansfield, and I'm like generally, is it only war manufacturing in the Pentagon budget? What else is in there?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
In the Pentagon budget, is it just war manufacturing? Like if I was to go to my community, and I know kind of the answer, and I would explain this to them, what else is in there? Give me something that would blow my mind.
So it's like any organization, although I'd say the DoD is like a strange microcosm of society, right? So there's grocery stores, there's healthcare, there's school systems, there's manufacturing, there's people, right? You got to pay for all the individuals in addition to the acquisition program. So it's a lot. There's a lot of things.
So it's not just war manufacturing like everybody thinks.
By no means.
Yeah. No, I know that, Chairman. I wish people would understand that, though. When you were looking at it, Mr. Mansfield, and I believe you're the Inspector General, correct?
I'm the Deputy Inspector General for Audit.
Deputy, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Rob Storch is our Inspector General.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I apologize.
That's okay.
Even with the work that you're doing, what stood out to you the most? In kind of thinking about, in line what Mr. Khan talked about of high risk.
Yeah, so I believe Mr. Khan hit it right at the nail right on the head. It's about systems. So, you know, if you look at, when we do the financial statement audit, we issue what are called, auditors issue what are called notices of findings and recommendations. Those are, as you look at each individual kind of system or process, you make recommendations on how to improve those. in 2020.
So you guys have been doing that for years now?
Yeah.
Any of them get implemented?
Yeah, so in 2023, the DoD closed just over 1,000, almost 1,500 of the NFRs that we had, that's our kind of lingo, those are finding recommendations that we had issued in previous years. So they do make progress every year, but as in any improvement process, as you fix one thing, that leads to us to be able to look at a little deeper, dig a little more, and we do identify additional issues. What I was going to say, though, is about 50%, maybe a little more than 50% of the notices of findings and recommendations that we issue are related to information technology, whether that's system security or controls over system upgrades, system interfaces, those types of things. So
How much of the budget, and I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, but how much of the budget are contractors?
I don't have an answer for that with me today. I apologize.
Do you know what I
can
mean
take
by
it
that?
for the
Like,
record.
are they like separately done? Like not outside of the federal, like they're contracted out?
I don't know Tom, if you have an answer for that, I'm not sure.
I actually don't know the answer to this. This is,
I don't either, but I can take it for the record, though, and try and get something for you.
Well, the budget is broken down by program, but each
Yeah.
part of that program, there's a contractor part of it as well, and as Mr. Mansfield mentioned, part of it is to pay people. A large part of it is to pay people, both civilians and military. Some of it is used for, things like travel and other areas, but, contracting is a large piece, but a lot of that
I
contracting
think
is,
over 50% of the Pentagon budget is contractors?
I believe it's less than that.
It's less, okay, well, that's okay. Yeah, no, I know you hear this a lot, but 78% is a lot. I mean, of the whole federal budget, you think about everything, healthcare, Social Security, everything, and 78% of it. And just to think that I'm begging just for $60 billion to actually try to get clean water across our country. But with that, I really commend you, Chairman, for doing this. This is incredibly important. I hear this question all the time. Why can't they pass an audit? What's going on? And Americans of all different political backgrounds really don't like wasteful spending, especially when they're still struggling and they can't figure out why they're still struggling while, again, watching kind of wasteful spending, or as Mr. Khan calls it, a high-risk area within it. So thank you so much, Mr. Chair.